But let's get into this a little bit, Ryan. As we get into the new year, obviously we got more soccer coming up for this U.S. men's national team as we get ramped up for the 2026 World Cup. There were a lot of players that surprised before we went into the holidays and the new year. And obviously, as we get ramped up, we just talked about the U.S. just booked Senegal the other day. So they have Belgium, they have Portugal, they have Senegal. Germany, I believe, will be their send-off game, which is not a send-off. I mean, it's here in the United States, but either way, it'll be their final game before the start of the 2026 World Cup. But today, let's talk about our one player that surprised us the most, that we're really going to be paying attention to coming into the new year, who we think might make the biggest impact on this team. But who was the biggest surprise in your mind? I was listing off a couple of different examples earlier, but you said no to pretty much all of them. So I'm curious, who's yours?
It'd be Noahkai Banks up to this point. Noahkai
Mm.
Banks is 18-year-old that's killing it in the Bundesliga. And if we're going to play a back three, and especially with Cameron Carter-Vickers injured, Tim Ream getting up there in age, other injuries, I think Noahkai Banks could absolutely slot to the right side of Chris Richards. I think it would go Ream, Richards, and then Noahkai Banks. Like, this kid he's 18. Sure, you can say, oh, it's a young player, all this, and that. He's a young player. He needs experience at that point. But when you're getting experience in the Bundesliga and you're playing 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, week in, week out, I don't see why you can't play. Like, again, I'm not saying he's killing Mbappe in terms of defenders, but killing Mbappe, he scored as an 18-year-old in a World Cup final. He started for France as teenagers. And I know it's a crazy example to use, but teenagers have done this before. And I think Noahkai Banks is a player that could absolutely – it's kind of been the biggest surprise this whole time, and I think he could absolutely be a starter. But if there's a few question marks on this men's national teams in terms of the starting 11. Look, I know you said yesterday that Poch has his starting 11 or should have his starting 11. I think he's got eight picked out for the starting 11. I think there's a couple holes that still needs to be decided, and that right center back of the back three is one of those holes that needs to still be decided. And I think Noahkai Banks could 100% fill that role, and I think he's a solid player. He's been a surprise because no one expected him to do anything. But if I'm talking about in 2026, I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to make a jump and he ends up in the starting 11. But what I'm saying is he is a surprising player, and I expect a lot from him. And I think he could be a surprise to a lot of people because what's an 18-year-old doing in the starting 11 of a World Cup roster?
Yeah. Yeah, and he could be a big-time surprise. And someone certainly to pay attention to going into the new year. My answer to this is Brendan Aronson.